Okay, we are live. Hey friends, let me just double check our Facebook community here to make sure that I see myself there as well. Excellent, we do. So, I want to talk to you today for our weekly live about feeling not motivated and if you struggle with consistency. These are kind of all wrapped up into one. Just a little bit of housekeeping stuff. We sent out an email today about December happenings with all the December events, with Meal Planning Club, with the weight loss program and Last Step weight loss program and support groups with me. DEXA opened. DEXA scans opened for January 10th. So you can go to our website, Patient Resources, and book your appointment with the DEXA body on Jan 10th for that. Thank you to all of you who have donated for SDG meals. We had two people in need, and they are very, very grateful. So thank you so much, and I hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Alana has asked for a live on sugar, and so I've prepared some of the research that I'll do a separate live when that is complete for you. It's almost there. We did a little preview in our private community, so that will come out to you here shortly. A topic that came up this week is motivation and consistency. So there's a little bit of a framework that I want to put together for you on how to be consistent. The one thing I want you to know right out the gate with motivation is that motivation comes after the action. It doesn't come before. We often think that the motivation, we need the motivation for the action. That's just in the wrong place. Motivation comes after the action, not before. So how do we stay consistent? Because if let's back up for just a second here. And if you think about your whole life, if we think about our lives in general, everything from the moment you wake up in the morning, you get a cup of coffee or a soda or a tea, and then you do this, 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 and then you go to work, and then you do this, and then you go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. This, your life, is systems. It's a whole set of systems, system processes. All day long, you have a system. This system yields this result. In this result, maybe that result is, the unhealth or overweight or high blood sugar or whatever that you're here for. And so in order to, you already know this, right? Like you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. You got to do something different. And there's a lot of times we hear in sessions like, I'm just not consistent. Or I don't have the motivation. That's okay. This makes you a normal person. Like it's okay. Everybody struggles with this. I do want you to have the tools for it, however. So if your whole life is a system and it produces this outcome, well, you want a different outcome, which means that you require a different set of systems. How your life operates must be different. How do we make that happen? Well, the first thing is, do you really want it? Number one, I know that sounds really silly, but in the beginning, you really do have to ask yourself if you want it. People come in to Southwest Dietitian Group and we have goals. We ask you about those goals and we expand on those goals. It's the very first thing that we do with you. Now, having spent 20 years in weight loss, with goals, I often see things like I want to make sure that you, these are just my words, truly authentically want it, right? If you are wanting to lose weight because you don't think you're loved or lovable or won't be good enough until you're in a smaller body or you want to be skinny or blah, 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 like that want is coming from a place of lack and not having, it's not going to work out long term. So the true, genuine, authentic wanting it, like that why, something that truly pulls you forward, that is real, to be around for your grandkids, to fit into the airplane seat, to not die early. All of these things are, do I really want it? Now, we may think, a lot of times people think that they have to go this all-in kind of effort in order to get this. And that's the way that most people do things, and all-in, all-out effort, 0%, 100%, go hard, go home. They don't work, right? You're not going to go from this set of systems to this set of systems overnight. It doesn't work that way. Like, buckle up, buttercup. I've told myself this too. Because, expect to take 2, 3, 5, 10 years to change your life, right? there aren't any magic pills. So that brings us to step 2. So number 1, you got to really want it, right? This is the formula for consistency. Number 2, you have to start so freaking small that you cannot fail. You have to start so small that you cannot fail. What do I mean by that? So you've got these systems in your life currently, right? And I'm talking about one little new system that is so small that you cannot fail. I'm talking about one extra glass of water. I'm talking about walking to the mailbox. Something so small that you cannot fail. There's many iterations, many ways to do this. It has to be so little resistance that you are going to do it. Now, I'll get to the next step here in just a second that will expand on this. But the key here is that you have to start so small that you cannot fail. Step number 3 is that you got to have a reminder. You have to have a reminder of what you're doing. If you've operated this way your whole life and the next morning you're like, okay, I set out to drink 1 extra glass of water a day. If you forget, it's technically not your fault. Why? Because it's not a habit. A habit's not a habit till it's a habit. If I don't stand over you and tell you to tie your shoes with your opposite hand than you normally do, you're going to completely forget. You're just going to do what you've always done because a system is a system. As a habit is a habit. It's been part of your life for a long time. So reminders are really important, and rewards if necessary. Those are your sticker charts, those are your habit trackers, those are your phone alarms, those are your habit systems, etc. Now, I will say this. Why do we ignore those phone alarms? This is really important. There's a part of our brain, it's called the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system says that you have millions of bits of information coming into the brain every day, and you can't take all of that in, or we'd be crazy people. So your reticular activating system says what's going to come in versus what's not going to come in. For example, these bits of information. Well, if you're sleeping at night and a plane flies over your head, and you have, like, planes fly over your house a lot, you're not going to wake up. But if you're sleeping at night and there's a knock on your door, you're going to wake the heck up. Why? Because that shouldn't be there. That's weird and unusual. So the information that comes in is what's important. It's based on survival. It's something that's unusual. What comes in. Now, this is important around your reminders. Here's why. Is because for the first couple of days, if you set a phone alarm, you may remember until you stop. So if you then go, then maybe you need to switch these things up, because it has to be unusual. It has to be out of your, something that you will see, that reminder you have to see. So you put a hot pink sticker on your refrigerator, and that hot pink sticker says, like, drink water or something, right? Something that you see, but it's not usually there, so you see it. But I mean, maybe in 2 weeks you stop seeing it. So that's the important thing about the reminders that you want to put in place. Now, this 4th step is the most important step. This is the one step that all of us, myself included, you know my story, is that we all need to cultivate on the journey to health. And that is to act when we don't feel like it. That is to do a thing when you don't feel like doing a thing. Here's my emotions: frustrated, stressed, angry, fill in the blank. Here's the action. I don't care how we feel, we act anyway. To do a thing when you don't feel like doing a thing is a skill. And so this is why we have to start so stinking small. Because if you don't feel like drinking 1 extra glass of water, that is something that you can override the feeling and do it anyway. If you don't feel like walking to the end of your driveway, that is something that you can do anyway. But if you had said to yourself, you know what, I'm going to work out 2 hours every single day, 5 days a week or whatever. If you don't feel like it, or you're tired, that's not something you're going to override. That step is way too big. Now, there's an asterisk here, okay? And this asterisk is for my type A people who push and push and push and push. And that asterisk says this, is you must use wisdom to know the difference between when to override your feelings and when you actually need to stop and rest and relax. If this applies to you, I hope that makes sense. Because the skill here is to do a thing when you don't feel like doing a thing. But for some of you, now I know I'm a recovering one of these people. you push and you push and you push, and you actually do need to rest. So this is why it has to be so small. This is why the work takes a long time. Challenges are fun because we get a lot of momentum. But at the end of the day, like, this is the work, this is walking, this has to be done. We want to create new systems where the system that I end up living for the rest of my life, even if it takes 3 years to change the system and I've got 50 years left in the new system to yield the result I want, you still win. So do you really want it? You got to start so small that you can't fail. You got to pick the right next things. You got to set reminders that you're actually going to see and adhere to. You have to act when you don't feel like doing it. Actions come before the feelings. Then the last step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is the motivation. That's the snowball. Step 5 is the snowball. Step 5 is after you do it, it's you start building trust in yourself. When you do a thing and say, when you commit to something and make a promise to yourself and you follow through, that builds self-trust. This is not true for all of us. I speak from weight loss, and so my weight loss people understand. Many of you probably do. Some of you, this probably doesn't apply if that's not true. So I want to tread lightly for a moment. But when you keep promises to yourself, and maybe you've had years of unbroken promises, when you say you're going to do a thing and you don't do a thing, and then you build up all of this unconfidence in yourself, this belief in incapability, it doesn't build trust. And this piece of setting out the goal, setting out the system, doing a thing when you say you're not going to do a thing, this builds self-trust. This reduces any reliance that you need on encouragement, and you no longer have to wait for motivation. How many times when you've started to get the result, your blood work is going down, you're losing some of the weight, you're seeing those results, then motivation comes in. Then you're like, yes, I'm ready, I'm doing this, I'm doing more. This is awesome, right? Motivation comes after the action. We have to do a thing when we don't feel like doing a thing, and we have to set that step so small that you can't fail. And none of this work is sexy. It takes a long time, and that's okay. So this was for you if you feel a lack of motivation. This is for you if you struggle with consistency. These are the steps for consistency. Do you really want it? Start so small. Start so small that you cannot fail. Set reminders for yourself and do it when you don't feel like it. And then you build, and then you build, and then you build. Work with your dietitian on this. Work with that. What's that next small step with little to no resistance that you can do for the rest of your life? Drink the extra glass of water. Walk to the mailbox. Those are just little examples. There's always a small step with little to no resistance in there. And the place where we will falter, perfectionists, that's a fear of failure. It's an excuse for fear of failure. I know, I get it. I've been there too. Our own expectations, like small steps, drinking an extra glass of water is not going to yield 5-pound weight loss. So making sure that we have the correct expectations, remembering that this process will not be and should not be perfect at all. It just shouldn't. Like if you drink the extra glass of water and then you don't do it the next day, doing it the day after you don't do it, that's the real work, right? Getting right back up. It's not perfect. It's not going to be, and it definitely shouldn't be. So I'd love to hear from you. What part of this process do you need to work on? What do you need more clarification on? What do you want to work on with your dietitian? Happy Wednesday, guys. I look forward to hearing all about your wins.